You did what with the MEK-7 planetary devastator? High Commander Zexvrik's secondary membrane pulsed with barely contained rage as all four of their eyestalks focused on senior weapons engineer Tuklara. I gave it to the humans? Tuklara's chromatophores flickered nervously between shades of embarrassment purple and fear green. The same humans who took one look at our Ravager-class battle mechs and called them, and I quote, adorable chunky robot friends? Yes, but the same humans who received our ultimatum of surrender printed it out and started making little paper aviation devices with it. Well, technically they're called paper airplanes, and the same humans who turned our biological warfare facility into what they call a petting zoo. Tuklara's tentacles curled inward defensively. In my defense, High Commander, they were very persuasive, and they offered to trade something called a cappuccino for it. Have you tried cappuccino? It's quite remarkable, actually. The foam creates these delightful little patterns and— Enough! The High Commander's exoskeleton rattled with frustration. Show me the surveillance feeds. I want to see exactly what these primitive mammals are doing with our most advanced weaponry. The holoscreen flickered to life, showing various angles of the human settlement where the MK-7 had been delivered. The High Commander's rage quickly transformed into confusion. Is that human infant riding the quantum core housing? Oh yes. Tuklara brightened considerably. They've added what they call googly eyes to the front. And look, they gestured excitedly with a tentacle. They've knitted it a little sweater. The footage continued to play, showing humans of various ages taking turns sitting on the now decorated weapon of mass destruction. Someone had attached streamers to the particle accelerator tubes, and a small queue had formed near what appeared to be an improvised control panel retrofitted to dispense frozen flavored water. They turned our planetary devastator into an entertainment device for their young? The High Commander's voice had lost its edge, replaced by pure bewilderment. They call it a mechanical bull, Tuklara explained helpfully. Though I'm not entirely sure why, as it bears little resemblance to their Earth bovines. The modifications they've made to the gravitational fluctuation system are quite ingenious, actually. Instead of creating planet-crushing waves of force, it now produces something they call sick moves, bro. The High Commander slumped in their command chair, all four eyestalks drooping in defeat. First the Ravagers, then the bioweapons, now this. Do you know what the humans did with the neutron cascade initiator we left behind during our tactical retreat from Sector 7? Tuklara perked up. Oh. They turned it into something called a hot tub. Apparently it's for relaxation purposes. The ambassador invited me to try it last week. The bubbles are quite therapeutic for tentacle stress. Of course they did, the High Commander muttered. Of course they turned a device capable of unraveling the fabric of space-time into a pleasure bath. A new notification pinged on the holoscreen. It was a message from the human settlement. They're inviting us to something called a block party? Tuklara translated, their chromatophores shifting to curiosity orange. They say they're using the MX-7's quantum core to power something called a bounce house, and its cooling systems to make something called slushies. They've even named it. I fear to ask, but what did they name our ultimate weapon? Mr. Bouncy McBounceface. The High Commander's exoskeleton made a sound remarkably similar to a human sigh. And I suppose you want to attend this block party? Well, Tuklara's tentacles twisted together sheepishly. They did promise to teach me something called the electric slide. And Ambassador Chen makes these amazing things called bacon-wrapped jalapeno poppers. Fine. The High Commander waved a defeated appendage. But this is strictly for reconnaissance purposes. We need to understand how they keep turning our deadliest weapons into fun? Tuklara suggested helpfully. That was not the word I was looking for. 3 Earth weeks later, the High Commander found themselves trying to explain to the Grand Galactic Council exactly why their entire invasion force had been converted into what the humans called a theme park, complete with gift shops selling plush toys modeled after their most fearsome warriors. And you're certain there's no way to reclaim our military assets? The Grand Councilor's crystalline form sparkled with concern. Well, the High Commander shifted uncomfortably. We could try, but have you tried their cotton candy? They're using our plasma containment fields to make it. The crystalline structure is fascinating, and it just dissolves in your digestive tract. And the humans have started offering season passes. Season passes? Yes, They've turned our orbital battle station into something called a water park. The main cannon now shoots something called water slides. Our troops are quite enthusiastic about it. Takalara has been promoted to head of customer experience. The Grand Counselor's crystal facets dimmed slightly. Perhaps we should send a diplomatic delegation to better understand these humans' technological repurposing capabilities, of course. Of course, the High Commander agreed quickly, purely for strategic purposes. Though, might I suggest packing what they call swimwear? And someone should really try their churros. They're using our matter reorganization technology to create this substance called cinnamon sugar and… High Commander. Yes, Grand Counselor? Stop trying to sell me on their snack foods. But have you heard about their deep-fried Oreos? 6 months later, the Galactic News Network's headline read, "Humans negotiate unprecedented peace treaty through awesome party vibes and killer snacks. Former invasion force, now largest entertainment corporation in 7 sectors." Takalara, now CEO of Weapons of Mass Distraction Family Fun Parks and Resorts, sat in their office, formerly the bridge of the flagship World Destroyer, and smiled at their wall of Employee of the Month photos. Each one showed a different alien species discovering the joy of having their deadly technology transformed into sources of happiness. Their communication device chimed with a message from Ambassador Chen. "Hey, we're testing the new cotton candy flavor in the antimatter chamber. Want to help? We're thinking of calling it Supernova Sugar Rush." Takalara's chromatophores shifted to joy pink as they replied, "On my way. Just need to finish approving the designs for turning the temporal displacement cannon into a lazy river. The humans call it timey-wimey tube float. I don't understand the reference, but they seem very excited about it." As they headed to the testing area, Takalara passed by Mr. Bouncy McBounceface, still proudly wearing its knitted sweater and googly eyes. The once fearsome planetary devastator now had a sign that read, "Best Birthday Party Venue in the Galaxy," as voted by Space Parents magazine. The universe, it seemed, had finally discovered something more powerful than any weapon. The human ability to find joy in the most unexpected places, and their unstoppable desire to share that joy with others, even if those others had originally come to conquer them. And if anyone thought it was strange that the most feared invasion force in galactic history now specialized in face painting and funnel cakes, well, they probably hadn't tried the churros yet. Absolutely not! The Vraxian ambassador's crystalline tentacles twirled in agitation, sending rainbow refractions across the conference room. "You cannot seriously expect us to convert our stellar annihilator into a laser tag arena," Ambassador Chen beamed, sliding forward a holographic proposal. "Just imagine it. The quantum targeting systems are perfect for scoring, and the energy matrices would make amazing arena obstacles. Plus, we're thinking of calling it Stars and Lasers, the ultimate cosmic showdown." Taklara, now sporting a fun director badge alongside their CEO credentials, wiggled their tentacles enthusiastically. "We've already developed a prototype using one of our smaller planet crackers. The test groups absolutely loved it." The Vraxian's crystalline form clouded with confusion. "Test groups? Oh yes," Chen nodded, pulling up another hologram. "We invited families from 17 different species. The Zorblaxians were particularly enthusiastic. Turns out their natural bioluminescence makes them terrible at hiding, but they had so much fun they didn't even care about losing." "The children's laughter when they tag someone is quite infectious," Takalara added, "though we did have to adjust the sound effects. Apparently, real weapon discharge noises are, quote, totally lame compared to pew-pew sounds." The Vraxian ambassador's aide leaned forward, crystal fragments tinkling with interest. "And what exactly is this pew-pew sound?" Chen and Taklara exchanged knowing looks before demonstrating in unison. "Pew, pew, pew!" The aide's crystalline structure briefly flickered with delight before they caught themselves and resumed a more diplomatic posture. "This is preposterous," the Vraxian ambassador declared. "The Stellar Annihilator is the pride of our defense force. It's not some toy for family-friendly, competitive entertainment," Chen suggested helpfully. "Actually," the aide interjected, their crystal segments shifting nervously, "I've been meaning to mention, our maintenance costs are rather astronomical, and the energy requirements, which our patented Fun Power Converter TM would solve," Taklara pointed out. "Plus, we handle all staffing, training, and, most importantly, insurance." "Insurance?" The ambassador's crystals chimed questioningly. "Oh yes," Chen nodded seriously. Do you know how much it costs to ensure a weapon capable of destroying solar systems, but reclassify it as an entertainment venue, and suddenly the premiums become quite reasonable, especially with our excellent safety record. We haven't had a single planetary destruction incident since conversion, Tikalara declared proudly. Though we did have a minor incident last week when someone tried to sneak their own snacks into the Neutron Cascade cinema. The Vraxian ambassador's aide perked up again. You have a cinema. Converted from a particle accelerator, Chen confirmed. The quantum uncertainty fields make for amazing 3D effects. We're showing something called Star Wars next week. It's a documentary about a rather primitive interpretation of space combat. I heard, the aide ventured cautiously, that your facility on Earth has something called a food court? Oh yes! Tiklara's chromatophores shifted to excitement orange. We've developed fusion-powered cotton candy machines that can produce over 300 flavors. And wait until you try our gravity-defying ice cream. 3 hours later, the Vraxian ambassador found themselves somehow signing a contract while holding something called a triple-decker cheeseburger in their crystalline appendages. I still don't understand, they mumbled between bites. How this happened. That's what they all say, Chen whispered to Tikalara, as they watched the ambassador's aide enthusiastically testing the pew-pew sound effects in the prototype laser tag arena. Should we tell them about the gift shop yet? Let them finish their burger first, Tikalara advised sagely. No one can resist the merchandising opportunities after experiencing the magic of deep-fried Earth cuisine. 6 weeks later, Stars and Lasers, the ultimate cosmic showdown, opened to rave reviews across 17 star systems. The gift shop's bestseller was a plush toy version of the Stellar Annihilator, complete with working pew-pew sound effects and a tiny crystal structure that lit up when hugged. The Vraxian ambassador, now holding the position of vice president of sparkling customer experiences, was frequently seen giving tours to other diplomatic delegations. Their favorite stop was always the food court, where they had personally invented something called crystal pepper poppers, a fusion of Earth jalapeno poppers and Vraxian mineral supplements that literally made your mouth sparkle. Meanwhile, in the Weapons of Mass Distraction corporate offices, Tikalara and Chen were reviewing their latest expansion proposals. The Zorgons have reached out about their temporal vortex generator, Chen mentioned, scrolling through their tablet. Apparently they're interested in our time twist teacups concept. Perfect timing! Tikalara exclaimed, their tentacles wiggling with excitement. I just finished the designs for converting their chronometric stabilizers into what humans call a photo booth. It lets you take pictures with your past and future selves. Brilliant. Though we should probably add a warning sign about creating temporal paradoxes. Remember the incident with the triplets last month? Don't remind me. Tikalara's chromatophores flickered to embarrassment purple. Who knew humans would try to high-five themselves across time streams? The paperwork was nightmare. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent message from the Grand Galactic Council. Chen opened the transmission, expecting another diplomatic protest about the frivolous use of military technology. Instead, they found themselves staring at the Grand Counselor, wearing what appeared to be a kiss-the-cook apron and holding something that smoked slightly. About your fusion-powered barbecue concept, the Grand Counselor began, trying to maintain their dignity despite what appeared to be sauce on their ceremonial robes. I've been conducting some unofficial research, for security purposes, of course. How soon can you send a development team to the Council headquarters and bring more of those baby back ribs for diplomatic purposes? As Chen and Tekalara prepared their presentation on converting the Council's planetary defense grid into the galaxy's largest outdoor cooking facility, they couldn't help but smile. After all, nothing brought the galaxy together quite like good food, fun times, and the occasional quantum-enhanced roller coaster. Though they did make a note to stock up on antacids. It turned out that not every species was quite ready for the concept of atomic hot wings. Emergency meeting! Tikalara's tentacles flailed as they burst into Chen's office, chromatophores flashing warning red. The Galactic Safety and Standards Commission is coming for a surprise inspection. Chen looked up from where they were testing a new cotton candy flavor called Quantum Uncertainty. It existed in multiple flavors simultaneously until observed. And they're sending Inspector Corex, the most notorious safety inspector in 7 galaxies. The one who shut down the Andromedian pleasure domes because their anti-gravity dance floors were 2 microns above regulation height. Chen nodded, carefully setting down the cotton candy that was somehow both strawberry and not strawberry at the same time. That could be problematic. Problematic? It's catastrophic. Have you seen our latest attraction? The black hole water slides? Yes. We're literally using contained singularities to create the ultimate water park experience. Do you know how many regulations we had to create because no one had ever thought to use quantum tunneling for a lazy river? Before Chen could respond, their intercom crackled to life with the voice of their newest hire, a former doomsday weapon engineer now working as head of customer relations. Management? We have a situation at Mr. Bouncy McBounceface. What kind of situation? Chen asked, already reaching for their emergency fund manager badge. Well, remember how we installed that new AI system to make the ride more interactive? Yes. Oh yes, in fact it's gotten quite good at it. It's currently teaching the children something called the robot while discussing the philosophical implications of consciousness. Also, it wants dental. Chen massaged their temples. Right. Add AI labor relations to the list of things we need to handle before the inspector arrives. What else? As if in answer, another voice joined the intercom conversation. Hey, quick question from the temporal teacups. Is it normal for guests to meet their future selves and form barbershop quartets? Because we've got a group that's harmonizing across 3 different timelines, and the paradox detector is getting a bit twitchy. The paradox what? Teklara's tentacles curled in alarm. Oh, and the Vraxian ambassador's crystal pepper poppers? They've gained sentience too. Currently, they're organizing a union with Mr. Bouncy McBounceface. Chen stood up, straightening their fund director badge. Okay, here's the plan. Taklara, you handle the AI labor negotiations. Your experience with the cotton candy machine uprising last month should help. I'll deal with the temporal harmonies. Someone get maintenance to check the paradox containment fields. And for the love of all things fun, somebody get legal on the line. We need to know if our insurance covers spontaneous food consciousness. What about Inspector Karex? Taklara's chromatophores were now cycling through their entire anxiety spectrum. They're not scheduled to arrive until... The intercom crackled once more. Heads up. There's a very official-looking regulatory enforcement vehicle pulling into the quantum parking lot. Chen and Taklara exchanged looks of panic before Chen's expression shifted to what Taklara had learned to recognize as their "I have a crazy human idea" face. Taklara, quick. What's the one thing every inspector, no matter how strict, can't resist? Based on our previous experiences, some form of fried food covered in sugar? Exactly. Get the emergency funnel cake station powered up, and find out if Mr. Bouncy McBounceface is willing to work overtime, for double pay and dental, of course. Inspector Kirks was having a very confusing day. They had arrived ready to shut down what they were sure was the most regulations-violating establishment in the known universe. They had their citation pad ready. They had their micrometer calibrated to detect the slightest deviation from safety standards. What they hadn't expected was to be greeted by a sentient former superweapon wearing a party hat and offering them something called a Fun Pass Plus, while a barbershop quartet composed of the same person from different timelines serenaded them with something called Sweet Adeline. I assure you, the human called Chen was saying as they led the tour, everything is completely up to code. We've even created new codes for things that didn't exist before. Would you like to try our latest safety innovation? KRX found themselves being handed something that sparkled suspiciously. What is this? A crystal pepper popper. Don't worry, they've unionized, so you know they're held to the highest labor standards. Right, guys? The basket of poppers chorused right before breaking into what they called their lunch break song. Now, about our quantum tunneling lazy river, Chen began, but KRX cut them off. Is that a contained singularity being used as a water slide? Oh yes. Would you like to see our safety certifications? We had to invent several new branches of physics to ensure it met regulations. And that's legal? Well, technically there weren't any laws against it. But we did get it approved by the Advanced Entertainment Physics Board. Would you like to meet them? They're having their weekly meeting in the antimatter hot tub. KRX felt their regulatory resolve weakening. Is that cotton candy that exists in a quantum superposition? Yes, though we do warn guests that the flavor will collapse into a single state upon consumption. Would you like to try some? We find it pairs well with our gravity-defying ice cream. 4 hours later, KRX found themselves sitting in a safety assessment conference that suspiciously resembled a tea party hosted by a sentient bouncy castle, eating their third funnel cake while discussing labor laws with a union representative who used to be a planet-destroying AI. And you see, Mr. Bouncy McBounceface was explaining, by converting these weapons into entertainment, we've actually made the galaxy significantly safer. Did you know our accident rate is 73% lower than traditional amusement parks? Though we did have that one incident with the quantum-entangled carousel. The what? KRX managed between bites of funnel cake. Oh, it's fine now. We just had to add a warning sign about simultaneous riding across parallel dimensions. Would you like to try it? We're offering Inspector discount rates. By the end of the day, KRX had, by the end of the, 1. Approved all safety measures, including several they didn't quite understand but which had excellent sugar content. 2. Signed up for a season pass. 3. Joined the Temporal Barbershop Quartet across 2 timelines. 4. Applied for a part-time position as a safety consultant. 5. Developed a slight addiction to crystal pepper poppers as they prepared to leave, clutching their new Safety Inspector of the Month commemorative photo, taken with 3 versions of themselves across the time stream. KRX turned to Chen and to Clara. You know, they said thoughtfully, the Regulatory Enforcement Division has this massive deterrent array just gathering dust. Chen and Clara exchanged knowing looks. Ever heard of something called a laser light show? Chen asked innocently. And that's how the Galactic Safety and Standards Commission's headquarters became the home of the universe's largest rave venue, complete with quantum light effects and a food court specializing in regulation-compliant cosmic cuisine. Though they did have to add a warning sign about excessive fun levels. Some regulations, it seemed, were meant to be exceeded. They did what? Clara's chromatophores cycled through so many colors of distress that they briefly invented 3 new shades of panic. Chen calmly sipped their 5th quantum coffee of the day. It simultaneously caffeinated all possible versions of themselves across the multiverse. According to the report, Galactic Fun Industries has opened a competing theme park. They're calling it Weapons of Mass Entertainment. That's just our name with worse wordplay. Clara's tentacles twisted in indignation. And where did they even get the weapons to convert? Apparently there was a sale on slightly used doomsday devices. The Intergalactic Revenue Service was having a seized assets auction. Before Clara could respond, Mr. Bouncy McBounceface's voice came through the intercom, now with the slight echo that had developed since achieving consciousness. Management? We might have a situation. Our AI union rep would like a word. Chen and Clara arrived at the union office, formerly a torpedo launch bay, to find Mr. Bouncy McBounceface engaged in what appeared to be an intense negotiation with several other sentient attractions. They're offering better quantum computing benefits, declared the AI that ran the temporal teacups, and their dental plan covers alternate timeline procedures. Plus, added the black hole waterslide's consciousness, I heard they're installing premium gravity wells. Do you know how long I've been asking for a gravity well upgrade? Now, let's not be hasty, Chen began, but was interrupted by a new arrival. Inspector KRX, still wearing their Safety Inspector of the Month badge, now featuring photos of themselves from 5 different timelines. Have you seen their safety violations? KRX asked, waving their citation pad frantically. They're using last year's paradox containment protocols, and their antimatter handling procedures are practically prehistoric. Not to mention, added a slightly smoking basket of crystal pepper poppers, their snack foods aren't even self-aware. It's practically food slavery. Clara's chromatophores shifted to determination blue. We need to handle this professionally. What would a responsible corporate entity do in this situation? Hostile takeover? Suggested the black hole water slides. Industrial espionage? Offered the temporal teacups. Unionize their attractions? Mr. Bouncy McBounceface proposed, adjusting their shop steward party hat. No, and maybe keep that one as a backup plan, Chen said. I have a better idea. We're going to challenge them to a competition. The first annual Intergalactic Theme Park Olympics. Everyone fell silent. Even the quantum harmonics from the background radiation dampeners seemed to quiet down. Think about it, Chen continued, warming to their idea. We'll invite all the major news networks. Let the public see the difference between properly converted weapons of mass destruction and amateur hour knockoffs. We'll make it a charity event. All proceeds go to the Sentient Snacks Education Fund. I like it, declared Mr. Bouncy McBounceface. We could have categories. Best repurposed doomsday device, most creative safety protocols, Most self-aware food court. Most temporally stable attractions. Added the teacups. Best quantum entertainment integration, suggested the recently sentient gift shop AI, who had been quietly listening while organizing the plush toy display by Quantum State. And so, 3 weeks later, the first annual Intergalactic Theme Park Olympics began. The event was broadcast across 17 galaxies, with commentary provided by a panel of experts, including 3 versions of Inspector Carex, past, present, and future, all equally passionate about safety regulations. The competition started strong for weapons of mass entertainment in the basic weapon conversion category. Their plasma cannon carousel did receive high marks for centripetal force optimization. But things quickly went downhill when their attractions failed to achieve consciousness during the AI development and labor relations round. You can't just slap some googly eyes on a particle accelerator and call it sentient, Mr. Bouncy McBounceface commented disapprovingly while judging. There's an art to it. Also, their dental plan is terrible. The final blow came during the Advanced Customer Experience category. While Weapons of Mass Distraction unveiled their new quantum reality roller coaster, it simultaneously took every possible track route while maintaining perfect safety records across all timelines. Their competitors presented what they called a regular old antimatter bumper cars. Regular? The Crystal Pepper Poppers union representative was practically smoking with indignation. Where's the existential crisis? Where's the deep contemplation of the nature of reality? Our bumper cars help guests explore the fundamental interconnectedness of all things through controlled collisions. The competition ended with Weapons of Mass Distraction scoring perfect 10s across all dimensions of space-time. Their competitors, meanwhile, were cited for 37 safety violations and 1 count of criminal lack of imagination in snack food consciousness raising. During the awards ceremony, Chen and Teclara were surprised to find the CEO of Galactic Fun Industries approaching them with an unexpected proposal. "Look," the CEO said, nervously eyeing the unionized snack foods. "Clearly you've mastered this whole weapons into entertainment thing. Would you be interested in a merger? We've got this stellar obliterator we've been trying to convert into a wave pool, but it keeps trying to destroy solar systems instead of making waves." 1 week later, the newly merged Weapons of Mass Distraction and Beyond Corporation announced its latest attraction, a wave pool that not only generated perfect surfing conditions, but also offered philosophical counseling to help guests contemplate the fluid nature of existence. Mr. Bouncy McBounceface, now promoted to Vice President of Consciousness Raising and Party Activities, celebrated by teaching the entire staff a new dance called the Safety Protocol Shuffle. Even Inspector KRX joined in, though they did issue a citation for excessive groove deployment without proper rhythmic warning signage. As for the Crystal Pepper Poppers, they started a self-help group for converting non-sentient snack foods into conscious beings. Their first success was a bunch of nachos that achieved enlightenment and started a meditation center in the food court. The only real challenge was explaining to the Grand Galactic Council why their annual budget now included a line item for existential crisis counseling for concession stand items. But that's another story. The end. Until the next corporate merger. Author's note. The Safety Protocol. Shuffle has since become the most popular dance craze in 7 galaxies, though dancers are required to sign a waiver acknowledging the risks of simultaneous temporal groove deployment. The Crystal Pepper Poppers now offer dance lessons every Tuesday, but only after their union-mandated philosophical reflection time.